Hello students, let's start our next topic, that is uniform circular motion or magnitude of centripetal force. Before start this topic, let's understand its remain point. The center of mass of an object is the point inside or outside the object at which the total mass of the object can be assumed to be concentrated. The center of mass of a spherical object having uniform density is at its geometrical center. The center of mass of any object having uniform density is at its centroid. If any spherical object is there, its mass is concentrated at the center of that object, and its density is its geometrical center, because the mass is concentrated at the center of that object. And the center of mass of any object having uniform density, that is at its centroid. Next we have given, why did Newton assume inverse square depends on distance in his law of gravitation? He was helped by Kepler's third law in this as shown below. So let's start our point, uniform circular motion or magnitude of centripetal force. Consider an object moving in a circle with constant speed. We have seen earlier that such a motion is possible only when the object is constantly acted upon by a force directed towards the center of the circle. This force is called the centripetal force. See here, let me understand actually what we have given about the uniform circular motion. If a object moving with a constant speed in a circle like this, any object that is moving in a circular path with a constant speed, that the uniform motion is possible only when the object is constantly acted upon by a force directed towards the center of the circle. When it is possible, when the object is constant, its speed is constant, when the force acted on the body that is always directed toward the center of the circle like this. Force that is acted towards the center of that circular object, and its speed that is also be constant when its force is constant. This force is called centripetal force. If m is the mass of the object, v is its speed, and r is the radius of the circle, then it can be shown that this force is equal to m for mass of the object, that is m, v square upon r. V, the velocity, here we have given the v is its speed, and r, that is the radius, means the distance of the object from center to its circumference, or the path of the object, circular path of the object. This from center to the path of the object or circular object that is moving with the circular motion. If a planet is revolving around the sun in a circular orbit in uniform circular motion, then the centripetal force acting on the planet towards the sun must be F. That is, the force is equal to mv square upon r, where m is the mass of the planet, v is its speed, and r is its distance from the sun. If the planet revolving around the sun, suppose here at the center there is a sun and the planets revolving around the sun in their orbit with a constant speed, then there also a force is acting towards the sun. The speed of the planet can be expressed in terms of period of revolution, that is t, as follows. But we know the formula of speed. The speed is equal to distance travelled upon time taken. The distance travelled by the planet in one revolution is equal to perimeter of the orbit, that is 2 pi r. We know the formula of the perimeter of the circle or circumference, that is 2 pi r. R is equal to distance of the planet from the sun, and time taken is equal to period of revolution, that is equal to t. So v, that is speed, is equal to, we know that the formula speed is equal to distance travel upon time taken, is equal to, when the object is moving in a circular path, then we will take that formula 2 pi r is upon t. We know that force is equal to mv square upon r. Here we have given that is force is equal to mv square upon r, is equal to m, and v square, that we have to put the values of v square here, and v value we have given here the 2 pi r upon t, but the v is square, that's why we have to taken here 2 pi r upon t bracket square upon r, that is the radius or distance of the planet to the sun, is equal to 4. We have to solve this one, this bracket, 2 multiplied by 2, 2 to the 4, that is where we have given here 4. M as it is we have to write, then pi square r upon t square. How it comes? See here. Separately I have written here m into 4 multiply by pi square multiply by r square upon t square multiply by r square. And if we cancel this r square, means this r if we have taken up, that will minus from this r, then only r is remain there, then the formula will come 4m pi square r upon t square, like this. Here they said multiplying and dividing by r square we get, we have to multiply r square to this formula, then we get 4m pi square r cube, r square and this r, that will come r cube, and r square t square. But this value is constant, r cube upon t square, we know that we have given before, that is in Kepler's law. Therefore force is equal to 4m pi square upon r square multiply by in bracket r cube upon t square. We have written here separately, we have given here that value because this is constant. According to Kepler's third law, t square upon r cube is equal to k, that is constant. Therefore force is equal to 4m pi square upon r square. This value we have to written as a k here, k. But 4m pi square upon k is equal to constant. Therefore, force is equal to constant multiply by 1 upon r square. Therefore, force is directly proportional to the 1 upon r square, that is distance of the object from the center. Thus, Newton concluded that the centripetal force, which is the force acting on the planet and it's responsible for its circular motion, must be inversely proportional to the square of the distance between the planet and the sun. Here we have given that radius r is square. That is inversely proportional to the square of the distance between the planet and the sun. Newton identified this force with the force of gravity and hence postulated the inverse square law of gravitation. Then decide its future. This is possible because of the huge masses of planets, stars and other constituents of the universe.